Good evening, everybody, and welcome to day number 57 for the update tonight. Thank you all for jumping in here. You guys are jumping in from all over the country and the world. Losers, you're safely in San Jose, California. Hope you enjoy. Okay, I got to catch up with some of these. These are cool. Michael Hogan, as always, thank you for your service, but I did not know. Hold it here. Let me get over to this button. Holy moly. Hold on. Y'all going too fast. Michael Hogan checking in from New Hampshire. Awesome. Thank you. Hello from Alstead, New Hampshire. Lynn Firebaugh, I see you there from Virginia. Nathan Fody checking in from California. We've got Ecuador in the house tonight. Hello, Rosie Pella, Ecuador. Welcome, Dave Snyder. Is there an organized effort to house Ukrainian refugees here in the States? So, as you know, today, some rules were changed for Ukrainian refugees, making it easier to get them housing and a more organized system. They're actually, there's a system created right when the war started by, I think it was two guys from MIT or Harvard, one of those. You just have to Google it. It's taken off for helping find placement for Ukrainian refugees, not only in Europe, but around the world. So that'll help. Pablo Boñano, welcome from Ecuador. I heard that NATO wants to create a humanitarian sea corridor in the Black Sea. Interesting. Yeah, I'm going to show you guys some stuff tonight. Medic Trevor, welcome to you. Texas up in the house, welcome to you. So we're going to get to it. Jania may jump in. I've got his feed over here on my left ready to go. So Jania is on the road. So here you go. Special visas for those who are being sponsored to come stay 2 years and obtain work. So there you have it. But if you want to find out like locations, I do know those guys made an incredible site quickly at the beginning of the war. And there you go, Ecuadorians. Welcome to our Ecuador family. So, hey, you're very welcome. Always bringing the truth. Yes. Okay, so here we go. Hope he's got his lucky backwards cap. So here's the deal. I was talking to Jania. Ecuador just had a big landslide and it cut off drinking water. Not surprising, but they'll let us know. We've been in relationship down there a long time as well. Jania right now is in a vehicle on the way to Poland, and from there on the way to Germany. They had to get some further documentation. There are some things that they're having to take care of in Poland and in Germany with refugees, with supplies, humanitarian aid. The other night, we were a little hushy-hush on some of the aid coming in. So you guys know, you've guessed it. I can show it now. I have the picture. It's not just humanitarian aid. Hey, big hello to Dean's Foods over there. God bless you guys. It's also military aid. And I'm going to show you a picture of that in a little while. But Jania is on the road. He's somewhere. I have no idea where he's at. Honestly, he was not too happy about having to go, but there were no options. And I talked to him about that a few hours ago. So, yeah, we'll see what happens. He may call in over the next hour. He knows I'm live. And I know he is alive. So we are good to go. So that's the update there. Mariupol, the big controversy today of Mariupol. I'm going to update you guys exactly what is happening in Mariupol. I'm going to show you video. I'm going to explain to you Shoigu and his conversation with President Putin. And when we leave here in 49 minutes, everybody will have the true update on what is happening in Mariupol. If you saw the advertisement tonight, the best way to transfer risky items is with non-risky items. That's exactly what they're all doing. So it's good. You saw the advertisement tonight. It's about a statement, a couple of minutes long, that Mikhail Gorbachev made in 2011. Believe it or not, folks, unless you are into all this stuff like I am, Soviet history, Russia, Ukraine, World War II, now the beginnings of World War III, it appears. I just kind of nerd out on this stuff. So in case you didn't know it, Gorbachev is still alive. And yes, that is the same Gorbachev who President Ronald Reagan made the famous declaration to: Mr. Gorbachev, tear down this wall. The same dude. Yes, he's still alive. He is still very much in his right mind. He's still a Russian, of course, pro-Russia, but he is very wary. I don't want to use the word anti, but definitely against Vladimir Putin. But I'm going to show you a clip where he was giving a interview at the LBJ Center, Lyndon Baines Johnson Center, a few years ago. I think it was in 2011, and it will give you a little bit of insight into what he saw coming. Before that, let's get going here. So, as always, thank you for your support. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for liking. Thank you for commenting. I'll have an updated number for you. Pastor Kent gave me the updated number, and I did not put it in. So I will give you the updated number tomorrow on the funds that we have raised. It's awesome, and we are distributing, of course, to our guys on the ground there in Ukraine. Give you an update on that tomorrow night. Part of what we're doing is supporting them. And for example, I did the blue there because they asked me to. These guys cannot be identified, but we were able to provide. These are some of the things. These are some of the things that we were able to supply to Ukrainian soldiers. This is a part of that large shipment that old World War II saying is as true today: loose lips sink ships. We should be circumspect to certain information we make public. I agree with you, Rick Barry. I agree with you. But I got permission to give this one. This is not too bad. This is 4 days old. We were able to supply these guys with tourniquets, with gloves, with face masks, with medical supplies, and also some armor. So there we have it. We were able to help. And these are the guys that we are helping, not only humanitarian side, but also on assisting the soldiers there. Secondly, today, big shout out for Finland. I know Finland is watching tonight. Today, this was in Finland. Big rally in support of Ukraine. Of course, this is also at the same time that Finland is getting ready to join NATO. It's pretty much a done deal with Finland and Sweden coming in very quickly. And of course, that will change the shape of the European map, the NATO map, the borders that bump up against Russia. And make no mistake about it, both of these nations border Russia. You say, well, I didn't know Sweden bordered Russia. Just a little small part, but they do. But Finland, a tremendously large border with Russia. And one thing I will tell you, folks, you know, the Finns and I'm not just saying that because we have Finns watching, but you can do some research on your own. The Finns are fighting machines. They are marksmen, very well known for their sniping abilities, their stealth abilities. You do not want to mess with the Finns. So this is a big deal happening here over the next couple of weeks. Basically today, all throughout Ukraine, this is what we've had. You see there everything red except Kherson Oblast in the bottom, and of course Crimea. Throughout the day, there has been missile strikes throughout Ukraine, throughout many regions, especially Kharkiv, especially Kramatorsk, Mykolaiv, and a new one, folks, Zaporozhye. Also today, Kryvyi Rog was hit, and some of the central regions below Kyiv. It's picking up, and I'm going to show you one of the reasons it's picking up in just a moment. Hey.
Hey.
Where you at?
We're in Poland in the center for refugees, helping refugees from Ukraine.
Are you excited?
It's how to explain.
Привет, Андрей.
Andrei.
Привет, дорогой.
Okay, and here is our friends from Poland. They helping.
Okay, this is super cool, folks. What time is it, Zhenya? Oh, thank you. What time is it?
And here is one more volunteer from Germany. Here, guys, you can say hi.
Hello.
Hello. Thank you for all you're doing.
You're welcome.
Oh my goodness.
My friends from United States.
Oh, yeah.
Live.
Yeah, we do a evening update. Thank you for all you're doing to help the wonderful Ukrainians.
Thanks.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Okay, so this is basically when you cross the border and nations are here helping to feed people, get them straight, give them some medical attention or whatever.
Yes, and I will show you one more place.
Where else are you going to get this stuff, folks? This is incredible.
This is where people can sleep.
Okay.
And probably you know that.
World Central Kitchen. Let me ask you something.
What?
Are they cooking in the kitchen?
Yes, there is the place where they cooking.
Sorry, buddy. I couldn't help it. Wow. This is right on the border right now.
Yeah.
Well, tell those people thank you for all they're doing from America.
These
It don't
people,
matter.
Ukrainians.
Where are they from? They're Ukrainians.
Yeah, they're waiting. It's a warm place. They're waiting.
Well, tell them we love them.
Hey. Тут вам привіт передають з США.
Oh, будь ласка. Man.
Okay, so
Unbelievable.
we need to drive soon to leave.
Okay.
Soon. Okay.
Well, buddy,
sorry,
thank you.
there is addiction, Greg. Sorry to interrupting your program. Here is addiction. You know, it's vareniki.
Oh my goodness. Пожалуйста.
He's addicted.
Hey, folks, he's talking basically about pierogies. I mean, for you to help you understand, but they're pelmeni, smetana, sour cream.
Сметаной?
Без.
Без сметаны с картошкой.
Картошка и сыр.
Картопле?
Картошка и сыр.
Картопле. Ukrainsky язык.
Okay.
All right, man. So where do you go now? On to Germany?
Right now, yes. We got a request from Ukrainian, let's say, military forces, and from one of the officers, and he asked us to evacuate to some special place in Germany, his family, and the
Okay.
baby, the mother.
All right.
So
Well, listen,
before,
we cannot be too loose-lipped because Commander Rick Barry will get on me. So you're making a run to assist some military to help them for their families. Thank you. We can't
Okay.
tell where you're going. They get
No.
no. Okay. Rick Barry, that one was for you. So thank you for helping. All right, buddy. I'll buzz you in the morning.
Thank you for support, Ukrainian people.
Yeah, we'll tell everybody
Yeah.
there at the border and all those nations. Thank you. Yeah, I know you got one hand.
Yeah, sorry.
That's okay. We'll take half a heart tonight.
Bye.
See you, buddy. All right, folks. It doesn't get any more real than that. So there you have it. That is a true picture of what's going on at the border right now. So let's get back. Throughout the day, each oblast has been under basically the warning sirens throughout the day. Right now, lots of cities in the center and the east are being struck very intently, and we will talk much more about that. This is some of the movement today, and I'm going to come back in a moment, and we're going to talk specifically about Kherson. But let me actually do it now because I want you to understand what has happened. It's actually going to affect some other things that we're talking about. I'm going to zoom in here right here, and I'm going to give you this map right here. And just so you know, let's see here. Let me pull that joker, and let's go here. So here is Kherson, and here's Mykolaiv. Yes, I discovered some new drawing tools to help do this. And right now, Kherson, completely occupied, of course, is being used to send missiles throughout the east. Not shelling, missiles. They have moved whatever the equipment is for, and of course, these are not your massive big boys, but these are missiles. They have moved them. It could have come via a ship. I don't know, because you have access through the Black Sea up into the Dnieper River. But now missiles are being fired within Ukraine. It's not just coming from the Black Sea or Belarusia or the Caspian Sea. It's actually coming now from Kherson. Now, why is that a big deal? It's a big deal. For example, Mykolaiv, which is very, very close here, as you can see, is being hit extremely hard, and it's such close proximity. These missiles are flying at very low altitude. They're flying, of course, very fast, and Ukraine does not have the technology to deal with that. So this is a big deal that now Kherson is being used as a place to not only shell, but to send missile attacks throughout southern and eastern Ukraine. I wanted to show you guys this, give you an update. This is the front line in the east, and I am circled here a couple of cities in the red. You see Donetsk. Of course, it's occupied and taken. Gorlovka up to the north in the red, which is another very big city, 300,000 people. These are cities we do not talk about very much, but Gorlovka is a major regional center, and it's a big city. But directly to the left, in the green, I know it's in a language you can't read, but that is New York. I remind you a few weeks ago of the family of refugees that escaped New York, came to our refugee center in Khmelnytsky, and have now moved on to another nation. But you can see now that the front line is right on New York. We're very thankful that that family is safe and was able to get out. So that's a story that we know much about because we've paid attention to New York. I got a statement here. We have Putin and Hitler over his shoulder. Just a few words here. Hitler's and Putin's Nazism are very similar in one way and different in another. For example, Hitler pumped the Germans with hatred for the Jews, while Putin has ignited Russians with hatred for the Ukrainians. But the difference is, previously they were called the brother nation, Ukraine and Russia. Still, the result in both cases is the same, and it's going to be the same. First, there's a war and massacres. Then the tyrant is eliminated, and then the empire collapses. That is what happened to Germany. That is what has happened throughout history when there were tyrants. Mark Twain is the one that said, Mark Twain? Yeah, that said history may not repeat itself, but it often rhymes. And I think we're going to see that, believing for that. Once again, never again. On the left, Nazi Germany. On the right, the current situation in Ukraine with the invasion and the war with Russia. Never again. And of course, on the right, this was a political cartoon going around Europe today. Never again. And yep, again. Easter truce. I want to talk about the Easter truce for a moment because you may be seeing in your news, whether it's American news or the other nations that you are from, that President Zelensky is the one who said no Easter truce. I want to debunk that. That is not true. He replied to that only after Russia declared yesterday that there would be no Easter truce. Today, President Zelensky had to come out because Russia had already said no Easter truce. I'm only going to play a few seconds of this. It's in the Russian language. This is the Russian Federation representative to the UN speaking yesterday to the United Nations.
Не буду скрывать, что очень лживые и неискренне звучат в этих условиях призывы к миру и прекращению огня, которые на практике означают лишь стремление дать киевским националистам.
He goes on, this was 24 hours ago, where he declared, of course, as a representative of Russia and the Kremlin, that there would be no Easter truce. Now remember, you're sitting here going, well, didn't we have Easter last Sunday? Yes, we did. But the Orthodox calendar celebrates Easter beginning this Saturday evening into Sunday. So Easter is still coming up officially due on the Orthodox calendar there in Russia and Ukraine. And Zelensky took heat today from a lot of media sources saying, why is President Zelensky saying no Easter truce? Well, first of all, his nation has been invaded, so he has the right to say no Easter truce. But it was Russia yesterday in the United Nations that began with the no Easter truce. I want to update you today on Mariupol. But before we do that, I want to now play the Gorbachev clip. And then from that, I want to update you on Mariupol. You see there in the picture, that is Shoigu. Yes, the one who's supposed to have the heart attack, the one who's supposed to have died. As you can see, he may have had a heart attack, but today he was sitting right there with President Putin delivering the address to him that Mariupol has been defeated. I know everybody's got their own opinions. Well, there's still soldiers there. I understand, but I'm telling you, this is what happened. And for all intents and purposes, Mariupol is defeated. There are still soldiers there, but Ukraine can't get to them unless there's intervention and outside help. So Mariupol is, Ukraine may not say it, NATO may not say it, the United States may not say it. Yes, there's still soldiers there, but Mariupol, it's in trouble. It's in trouble. But Shoigu today reported to Putin. And if you look at the clip, I took a still shot of that. Look in the upper right-hand corner. That is Rossiya 24. It's on the news. Everybody sees it. Up there, you see Moskva on the left. This was in the Kremlin. And you see that this happened at 10 a.m. Russia time today. And of course, they were giving their own stock numbers on their markets. So this was today's stuff. Before we roll that, because I had the video of that, I want to preface it with the clip from Mr. Gorbachev. This was the advertisement for tonight. The Gorbachev Warning. Here it is from 2011 at the Lyndon Baines Johnson Library. And yes, Mr. Gorbachev is still alive.
You have expressed your feeling that Vladimir Putin should step down rather than trying for a third term in March. Why do you feel that it's time for him to go?
Why do you feel that?
That it's time for him to go?
Почему такова ваша позиция? Почему вы считаете, что ему надо уходить?
Путин пришел и получил наследство
Putin inherited a very difficult situation from his predecessor Boris Yeltsin.
Немало полезного он сделал для того, чтобы
Putin
сохранить и укрепить
did
государство.
a lot of useful work to preserve Russia and to consolidate the Russian state.
Хотя и в те времена, в
Even
начальный
though
период, было много расчетов.
he made mistakes even during his initial years and later, but he succeeded in something very important.
Я думаю, что там случилась такая же вот история. Теперь кажется, что
And so I
в то
think
время
that
были использованы авторитарные методы, и можно их понять вроде бы и
it was
оправдать.
perhaps understandable that during that initial phase, he used certain authoritarian methods in his leadership.
Но ставка на авторитарные методы решения проблемы на будущее, это...
Using authoritarian methods as a policy for the future,
Я думаю, это просчет.
that I think is wrong. I think that's a mistake.
И второе,
And the second point,
вот она, Африка опять подтверждает то же самое. Там, когда сидят вожди,
is, wherever you go, even to Africa, you see
вокруг них
that
такие возникают
where you have leaders that rule for 20 years or more, you see what happens around them.
удержать власть.
The only thing that is important in such situations for those leaders and people around them is holding on to power.
Мне кажется, что
I
это
believe
происходит
that
сейчас
this
у нас.
is something that is happening now in our country.
Я об этом недавно написал.
And I recently wrote an article about this and spoke about that very frankly.
Ну, остальное мы будем сами там разбираться.
But of course, it's for us to sort these things out.
Не вздумайте влезать
We shall do that, and please don't
в Россию.
even try to intervene in those Russian affairs.
That was pretty good. So a couple of things that I thought were interesting about that is that's 11 years ago. And he made some statements. Strong arm policies, authoritarian rule. Remember, 11 years ago this is, are wrong. He doesn't agree with that. He then talks about leaders that stay in power too long, and he used African nations as an example, and now Russia. The effort becomes to hold on to power. You see, I think this is almost prophetic, not biblically, but prophetic words and principles that we are now seeing played out 11 years later from those statements at the Lyndon Baines Johnson Library. Here's the deal. This is why I'm of the opinion that Russia's not going to stop, not going to quit, because he's been in power so long. This is it. He needs and he desires to hold on to that power. We heard that from the last ruler of the Soviet Empire when it fell in the late 80s, Mikhail Gorbachev. But finally, make no mistake about it, even though he's against many of the policies of Putin, and even now, later on, 2017, 2018, he has written articles and he's received a lot of heat and flack for it because he really wanted Putin out of power. But with that said, he still loves his nation of Russia. And the statement that he made at the end of that, where, you know, it's Russia, we take care of our stuff ourselves, don't try to interfere. Okay, yeah, it's funny and it's a joke, but that is how it's viewed. So I thought that was interesting. 11 years ago, Mikhail Gorbachev, who, if anybody is qualified, this guy dates all the way back to Khrushchev. This guy, go look it up yourself. He was born in 1931. He was a Stalinite. And then he, through his life, softened. Through his life, he began to change his views. But you're talking about a real remnant, a leftover person from that Soviet era of the Cold War, Stalinism, Brezhnev, Khrushchev, all of these guys, they were the modelers for what Gorbachev would become. So he knows Russia. He knows, of course. So I think it's wise to be listened to. So back to Shoigu. Here's the deal. I'm going to play like 20 seconds of Shoigu just so you can see it talking to Putin. And I will tell you what he said right now. Then it's going to cut to a clip of things that were played on Russian television today. The first thing you're going to see is a tank coming through Mariupol doing like acrobatics, a spin around like a race car, and then driving on through, just running over stuff. The next thing you're going to see is a movement of troops and tanks coming out of Mariupol. You're going to see this propagandist on the side of the road cheering them on, saying, listen, Mariupol is done. We're moving on to the next targets. This is what was played on Russian television today. Now, let me give you the conversation that was on national television today in Russia. Shoigu reported to, and you're going to see the beginning of the report. He said that the city has already been, and I quote, liberated. Remember the viewpoint, liberated. The situation, President Putin is now in the calm. There are militants that remain in the Azovstal, and more than 2,000 of the Ukrainian nationalists are blocked there. Militants in Mariupol have been covering themselves using human shields, but we have avoided attacking them. The Azovstal plant with the Ukrainian militants and foreign mercenaries, President Putin, is now securely blocked. There is no escape. Putin then gave an order to Shoigu on national television. It's like a soap opera, folks. He said, the assault on the Azovstal, we can now stand down. There is no need for the Russian soldiers to climb through the basements and catacombs of the Azovstal plant, finishing off the enemy. What I'm requesting now is a complete blockage of every industrial zone that is left there near the Azovstal. And Shoigu, I want you to close it off so tightly that even a fly could not escape. Putin then called the combat work in Mariupol a big success, and they began to show these clips that I'm going to show you. I can tell you tonight that the soldiers, the Azov and the 36, and civilians are still there in the catacombs, the basements of the Azovstal. I can tell you that Russian troops are moving out. They're moving on to other places, but troops remain there, completely locking down that Azovstal plant. And I can tell you this, the bombing of Mariupol has been increased. Okay, I'm frozen. How am I frozen? So let me go to that and I'll see what's going on. I know you can hear me. I hope you can hear me. Here we go. Shoigu right here.
Владимир Владимирович, вооруженными силами Российской Федерации и силами Народной милиции Донецкой Народной Республики освобожден Мариуполь. Остатки формирования националистов укрылись в промышленной зоне.
выполненного своего военного долга. С вами был проект Варгонза. Семен Пегов специально для вас, подписчики из Мариуполя, освобожденного уже.
So folks, that is, and I am working on the camera freeze issue right now, but let me roll this back up, and I may be podcasting, and I'm glad you can hear. I just put a message out to Steven. We're working on that, but it's not going to affect the broadcast, except you do not see my pretty face right now that needs a shave. Now, the next thing I want to share with you is this. Not only is the Russian military there, but the Chechen forces are in Mariupol. So they began to celebrate today the liberation, the destruction of Mariupol. And you will see these guys. I want to remind you that these are Muslims. And at the end of their celebration, they'll give their chant. And then, of course, you will hear Allah Akbar. Here we go.
Можем сказать, что Мариуполь, город, полностью очищен со стороны Азовсталя. Это административное здание Азовсталя. Спецоперация по уничтожению и очистке Мариуполя сегодня, можно сказать, завершено. Указание президента страны Владимира Владимировича Путина выполнено. Указание Рамзана Ахматовича, главы Чеченской Республики, приказ выполнен. Ахмат! Сила! 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 Россия! Сила! ДНР! Сила! Вместе! Сила! Аллаху Акбар! Аллаху Акбар!
So, folks, there you have it. And, of course, I've got some good technical guys behind the scenes here. We got her dialed in and fixed. That's the truth of what has happened in Mariupol today. So, Ukraine, much Western media saying, listen, we still have people there. But Russia's celebrating the victory and they are moving on to other targets. Now, I want to put a few things out there quickly. Folks, we've talked about Mariupol. We have talked about other cities that we're concerned about. Last night, talking with Zhenya, Mariupol, of course, devastated, destroyed. Forget devastated, destroyed. Now, the same thing is trying to happen in Mykolaiv, which is a key city, large city, and also in Kharkiv, which is a mega city. I want to show you an update on Kharkiv tonight. This is from the mayor. He said in Kharkiv, as of April 21, which is Today, 1,000, folks, think about this. 1,929 residential buildings were destroyed. This is the mayor giving the report in the picture on the right to Kyiv. Folks, not houses. These residential buildings that you see, and I've shown you video for 57 days that are being leveled and destroyed section by section. 1,929 residential buildings have been destroyed. Only 1/3 of the residents, though, have left the city. In Kharkiv, there is still over 1 million people. You see, in Mariupol, we believe there's still up to 100,000 people. And I know you're saying, well, I thought there's only like 2,000 left in the Azovstal plant. No, there's still people trapped there in their dilapidated ruins that are dying every day or being killed. They're still up to, or being taken out. Still 100,000 potentially in Mariupol. But in Kharkiv, there's over 1 million people left. He says at the moment, it is possible to leave by train or car. Everyone has the possibility at this moment to escape. He then said, the city has suffered massive destruction, not only residential buildings, but also our hospitals, schools, public buildings, transformer substations, meaning electrical infrastructure, water pipelines, boiler houses, that's water and heat, and so on. The mayor, Terekov, said. He assured that city services are doing their best to repair the infrastructure as soon as possible. He also stated that doctors have not left the city. They work day and night, and he said, we are holding together. Folks, if what has happened in Mariupol begins to happen in Kharkiv and a blockade happens, we're talking of something that would be 10x of Mariupol. 10x. We do not know how many are dead or gone in Mariupol. Remember last night, Zhenya was telling you the straight information that every day the dead are being taken out of Kharkiv. Let me give you a few images here. Same thing you've seen in Bucha. Same thing we've showed you in Bordyanka is the same thing we've showed you in Mariupol, in Kherson, and now, folks, these are updated images from Kharkiv. Complete destruction. I covered up this gentleman on the left. I covered, there is a dead body laying there, and they're just being now left in the streets because if they try to recover them, they shell them. You see the city burning on the right. Kharkiv is in trouble, folks. 20,000 mercenaries are now confirmed fighting in eastern Ukraine. They are both from the nations of Syria and Libya. In addition to that, my friends, what you're looking at right there is the Russian embassy in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia. The Russian media has reported that this line of men are there just to show solidarity for the Russian operation in Ukraine. But the reality is these guys are being recruited, offered money to go to Ukraine and to fight. It's happening throughout the region. Folks, he's back. Rossiya 1, Solovyov. And remember, this is Putin's best buddy. Remember, this is Steven Seagal's best buddy. Well, he's back. He is back.
Потому что страны НАТО будут поставлять, де-факто свое оружие. Мы сейчас увидим втягивание не только оружия НАТО, но и его операторов. То есть ясно, что сейчас мы де-факто начинаем воевать со странами НАТО. Мы сейчас будем перемалывать и военную машину НАТО, и, извините, так получится, граждан тех стран, которые являются гражданами стран НАТО. Поэтому, когда эта вся операция закончится, НАТО надо будет себя спросить, а нам есть чем защищаться? И нам есть кем защищаться. А пощады не будет. Пощады не будет. Денацифицировать придется, судя по всему, не только Украину. Война с Европой, о которой я говорил, с миром, начинает приобретать уже и вполне конкретные, да, и вполне... А это значит, нам придется действовать по-другому. Гораздо же.
Folks, I know it's hard to comprehend those kind of statements, but who would have thought we would be where we are on night 57 of this war with the things that you see when you're watching the news or I show you nightly? If I would have told you 60 days ago that, hey, I'm here to tell you, you know, starting in 3 days, a war is really going to happen in Ukraine, and we're going to start helping them, doing our best to raise support, tell them we love them, and Mariupol is going to be completely leveled to the ground, and then they're going to take Kherson, and then they're going to try to do it to Mykolaiv. Kyiv is going to be destroyed. People are going to be assassinated. Kharkiv is going to be destroyed, and there's going to be a push to take the entire nation, and then the consideration for Europe. You would have looked at me like I would have looked at myself and go, yeah, right, buddy. None of that's going to happen. Who would have thought? Yesterday, an intercontinental ballistic missile was tested by Russia. It was a successful test. It is, I called you last night. The nickname of it is the Satan II. And then you have Putin's buddy. They're best friends, my friends, best friends, spewing this venom. Europe's next. We have to be harsher. You know what that means. Stronger weapons. No mercy. Do not think for 1 second tonight that it cannot go bigger. And that is why it needs to be stopped. I had a really, yes. And there you have it. There is my Ukrainian friend, Asay Nestoruk. Solovyov was always there with a real fascist propaganda. Exactly. Folks, that's not me telling you. There is a Ukrainian telling you. It's the truth, what we're telling you in here. These people spew this stuff. And the problem is with him, he's tight with Putin. So make no mistake about it. Putin knows what he's spewing nightly on his program. We just have to watch it. I had a really interesting conversation today, and you guys see him in the chat quite often, JDO. A lot of the guys that have come to be a part of this and support this are a part of another group that I'm a part of with them in an investment. Group. And even the guy that runs that, his name is James, has been in here on the program watching our updates a few times. Very, very smart guy, but that's all about economics and understanding finance and all of that jazz. And but JDO sent me a message today, and he says, we have to think about this for a moment, kind of economically. And it was really a good point, and I just want to share it for a moment before I give you some numbers tonight to close out the program. Because, maybe there's bigger things at play here with finances and economics, and the reason that these nations, ours included as America, are slow in getting weapons or promising one thing and not delivering, almost as if they want to drag this out. Not trying to be a conspiracy theorist. I hate conspiracy theories. I like to destroy them. But that may have some merit there, because this is ridiculous that what is unfolded in Ukraine and the global community has not stopped it. And I'm telling you, we could stop it in a New York minute. That's the tragedy of it. Today, this is actually from Moscow. This is an attorney. This is his client. You're saying, what are you showing me a pair of shoes? because this young man wearing these tennis shoes today was arrested in Moscow because he had on blue and yellow tennis shoes. This is not made up. This is 100% legitimate. Arrested for wearing the Ukrainian national colors on his tennis shoes. He didn't make the tennis shoes, folks. They're Asics and they were blue and yellow. And that's his attorney putting out an appeal saying this, my client is not pro-Ukraine. His tennis shoes are blue and yellow, asking for help from the Russian community. Boris Johnson made a big statement today. In the case of using weapons of mass destruction, y'all catching the timeline of this? Increase in the action in Ukraine, testing of ICBMs. Boris Johnson comes out and he says, in the case of using weapons of mass destruction, the UK, the United Kingdom, reserves the right to strike back on its own without consulting with other NATO countries. Boris Johnson. Good for you, Boris Johnson. Folks, Kherson. Last night we talked with Zhenya, and 2 nights ago we talked with Rostik. What's it like to be in an occupied area? Tonight I want to show you what it is like to be in an occupied area. This is Kherson. This is a Ukrainian showing their store where they go to buy products. They're gone. And when I say food, meats, pastas, grains, breads, they're gone. Why are they gone? Because in Kherson, a city of 300,000 people that is completely occupied and under Russian control, and beginning May 1 will have a referendum to separate it from Ukraine as its own republic. That is happening. People are being stolen. People are being put into the military forced. Families are being torn apart so that they can hold, for example, the children hostage so the father will serve. The other thing that they are doing, the occupiers are doing, is they are holding the food so that people will have to submit to get food. This is a video out of a Kherson grocery store today where the person is complaining about there's nothing left. Only way to get it is to cooperate. She says, look, this is our store. Got some salad dressing. So folks, she goes, our supermarket. You see, it's not like a little bit of stuff left. Just some salad dressings and some jars of stuff. There's no food. She keeps going aisle by aisle by aisle. There's no food. So that's the deal there in Kherson. You serve, you get food. Warning came out today throughout Ukraine, and this is something we've been talking about. Russia put out a warning today that they will strike railroad bridges throughout Western Ukraine. That's where all of our people and the people that we are serving and the refugees are. Train stations, railroad bridges. The purpose of that is to stop the flow of weapons from the West. I can tell you right now, as of today, there are 85 battalions of Russian military functioning inside of Ukraine. That is a typical armament of 85. A typical armament of a battalion. And in addition to that, they will have 800 to 1,200 foot soldiers. That's one battalion. There's 85 working. Remember, the new general wanted the 5-to-1. Not only that, 3 new battalions arrived today, and 20 battalions are en route from Russia, coming from different zones to eastern Ukraine right now. Folks, the buildup of troops. Remember when I told you about Kremina the other day, and the mayor reported it's gone, it's destroyed, and it's unbelievable how much equipment they have here. That is what is happening in Kremina. Folks, Mykolaiv, I want you to be aware, it's a major target there. We've been talking about it, and we will continue. But Mykolaiv is under a constant bombardment. In fact, I'll give you some sound of it right now. This is tonight. I got this video just a couple of hours ago. It's in the dark, so there was no video, but you can hear.
Это на той стороне.
And it just keeps going. So when we talk that Mykolaiv and Kharkiv are under serious bombardment, and now it's beginning in Zaporozhye, that's the level of bombardment. Last couple of things I want to give you tonight is I want to give a big boo for Hungary, because Hungary has said that they will veto any action to stop economic activity, especially in regard to fuels with Russia. I want to remind you of European Union policy. One veto, it doesn't fly. European Union must have unanimous votes. Hungary is a problem. North Korea, we've talked about them as well today. Just before I went online, China came out and said, sanctions are not the answer. We have to have dialogue. Dialogue's not working. There is really no negotiations going on. And you can see China's interest there, saying sanctions aren't working. It happened right before I went online, so I was unable to get a picture for that. And the last thing I want to leave you with tonight is German Chancellor Olaf Scholz. He is in trouble. He is in big trouble. And I'm going to show you this. So here's the deal, and 60 more seconds and I'll get you out of here. Germany was to supply Ukraine with heavy weapons. There was a 42-page list of the weapons. Well, when it came time for Germany to begin the shipment, all the heavy weapons were removed from the list. This was done with the authority of Olaf Scholz. You can see him here in an older picture with Vladimir Putin. That has caused a firestorm in Germany. It's caused a firestorm in Europe. For example, the Netherlands, this is out of their newspaper. We are not like Germany. The Netherlands set to deliver AFVs to Ukraine. Not only that, today there is now a movement to remove Scholz from office because he is not helping in the war effort to the level that Ukraine needs. That's what's happening in Germany. And finally, I can prove it with the numbers. Government support to Ukraine by GDP, or what percent of their gross domestic product. Of course, smaller nations, it'll be bigger, but it's still the principle. Estonia, by far giving the most percentage of their GDP to support Ukraine. And Estonia is a small nation, but Estonia knows what it's like to be in the USSR. Poland, significant, of course. And then Lithuania, another Baltic. Slovakia, Sweden. Hey, and there is the United States. Now, when you take that percentage of our GDP, you know, we've given a lot of money. We now need to go in there with the military and take care of this. But we've done good. Czech, Croatia, United Kingdom. Remember, this is not how much. This is percentage per GDP. So the reality is the U.S. has given multiple times more than any other nation. That's a fact. Then Croatia, UK. Theirs looks smaller, but it's huge because they have a big GDP. France, Italy. But look who's at the bottom. Germany. And yes, their GDP is decent, but they're at the bottom. Scholz is stopping the delivery of heavy weapons, and the people of Germany are becoming very upset. And I've spent time in Germany. We've ministered in Germany, have friends in Germany, and I know Germany's tough on some ways and has a horrible history. But there are some good German people there that remember what World War II was and what it was like. Forget World War II only, but to live in a separated nation of East Germany and West Germany. Most people, our ages, well, I don't know what your age is, but my age and above would for sure have remembered living in a divided nation, East Germany and West Germany. And they do not want that to happen again. So Olaf Scholz, that could be big, big trouble coming. Folks, as always, thank you for giving. Thank you for being here each night for these hourly updates, 9 to 10 Eastern, 6 to 7 California, and whatever country you're in. U.S. has given more money, but not more heavy weapons. That's correct. We've given more money. Honestly, and I'll leave it with this. You guys know, I don't want to give heavy weapons. You say, what? I do not want to give heavy weapons. No. I want to roll the fleet out of the Persian Gulf through the Straits of Turkey, wave at Erdogan, and roll on up into the Black Sea and let some of our boys take care of this. And then I want to get some of our special forces up on the ground, and it won't take much. Few of our Marines, some of our Army, and let the Navy and Air Force in this. I mean, before you could make a pot of minute rice. And if you don't think it could happen, I'm telling you it can happen. I've been all through Russia. I know their infrastructure. It would be over. Well, they may drop the nuke. They may drop the nuke anyway. Therefore, we need to do what's right and to end it. All right, my friends, that's the update for tonight. Love you guys. Thank you. What a cool thing to see at the beginning of the program. If you jumped in late, when we're done now, go back to the beginning, and you can see Zhenya and talking with people there at the border. He's on his way on a special operation. So that's where we're at. May the Lord bless you, keep you, cause his face to shine upon you, be gracious to you, and give you peace. We will see you in 23 hours. We'll have a numbers update tomorrow night. And thank you for continuing to give sacrificially. We're doing a really, really great thing. Love you guys. See you in 23 hours. Good night.